Okay, today's video, we got in a unit in Washington from this mud duck out in Arkansas. Wants us to do all this fancy dancy stuff to it, so figured before we get going on it, we'd get her all fired up first, make sure everything was looking good from the get-go before we start doing any work to it. Not a bad looking radio at all. Looks almost pretty much brand new. Still even got the little sticker stuff on here. Nobody never peeled off. Radio's in real good shape. It's been clipped and tuned, it looks like. So let's get on with the show. This is what we got barefoot. 100 watt bird slug like always. Dead key in about 3 watts. Oh yeah. So you know about 6. RMS peak, we have it on the 50 watt scale. So we're going to read the top. Oh yeah. Maybe a good 18. And the frequency, just a hair off. No real big deal. Would mean something on sideband, but AM, nothing. So we'll go in here and realign this thing all per spec, plus do our mods to it. He wants channels in it, frequency counter hooked up, unlock the clarifier, all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm not much on unlocking clarifiers. I know he knows this, and I don't like to do it because they don't normally track and receive correctly in sideband, but to each their own. We'll be back with an update. I'm going to give you a quick tour of this Washington I'm working on and just show you a couple things before I get the tins on it. We wired in a bunch of stuff. This plug here is for an external frequency counter. The customer got the FC347 Galaxy counter. So we got that all wired in here. Everything's wired in. He bought a Expo kit he wanted installed in it. We got that installed in the phono jack plug. That's where he wanted it, so that's where we put it. I took his original phono jack and mounted it right here. So if it ever wants to go back in, it can. You know, we also did a couple of other modifications to it. Let me give you a quick little look around to the back here. This radio already had 2 existing holes in it, so I just utilized the holes that were already here. This one here is going to be for variable power. And this is a boost switch, okay? So I put a little boost in here on the transmit side. Knowing this guy, he's a big TB anyways. He's gonna he'll probably have this switch on all the time. But you don't really need to have it. Everything else is pretty much the same on the back. The speakers, PA, coax. Same thing with the face of this. Let's turn this around. Face of this, everything's the same except for the channel kit being in the phono jack. So everything's pretty much factory fresh, looks factory. We did some blue upgrades to it. I'll show you that when I get the tins on it and get this thing fired up. Did a little upgrade on the power supply, like to add a little bit more capacitance. Anytime you mod these radios, you're going to need a little bit more help for the power supply. This helps out the power supplies tremendously. So, and then, of course, as you see, the top side. I do have some zip tying left to do, and I'll get that done here in just a few minutes, but it's all modded up, ready to go. We'll be back with the tins on it. Alright, let's get on with the show here. What we got is this unit in Washington that we did for TB out there in Arkansas. Well, Mr. TB is going to love this radio. We did a lot of mods to this thing. We blue lighted everything, as you see. Okay, and let's see, microphone. Everything's blue lighted. This guy wanted to be blue. Okay, channel kit's in the phono. Okay, so he's got his channels. We hooked up a frequency counter. So that's the low side. That's normal. That's the high side. Go to 40, then basically just adjust the clarifier to get it to where you need to have it at. So and see how much it slides down. So goes quite a bit of ways. Oh, that's weird. But that's how these channel kits usually work. I'm not a big fan of unlocking clarifiers, but tends to be the scenario. Channel 20. So she'll drop pretty good. She'll go whole channel. A little touchy. Not a fine, you know, because it's a stock clarifier, so it's not really fine. But let's get on with the show. Channels in it, blue. Let me show you what she's doing. And we got the got a signal on it. Here's the scope. Looks really good on the scope, and that's with the boost switch off. Okay, and then boost switch on the scope. As you see, we can actually give it some more mic gain and tighten up the negative some. The negatives being in the middle, but still looks really good, really good. Nothing there to disappoint. Let's get on with what she'll do. Boost switch off. Now I'm going to be on this RMS reading meter on my B&K Service Master. I'm on the 50 watt scale, so we're going to be reading the very top numbers. Oh yeah, so a little over, hair over 30, and that's on that peak reader. We got a 10 watt slug, no boost. Now, Bird says that once you get to about 3/4 of the way up, you're supposed to change out your slugs for better accuracy. So I don't normally use a 10 watt slug in here because normally I'll go with my 50 or 100, but I figured I'd put a 10 in here just to see what it would do with the 10. Oh yeah, hello, on. So a good solid 8 Bird without the boost on, with the boost on. Oh yeah. There's 10 in the corner. And like I said, that's what Bird says right in their manual. You need to change to the next figure up, which I don't have a 25, but I do have a 50. Somebody borrowed my 25, just never brought it back. You know how that works. Grew legs. Okay, we'll turn the boost switch off. On the Bird, 50 watt slug, we're reading the middle scale, so that 10 would mean 10 watts. Oh yeah, that's no boost switch on at all. Now here's the boost. Oh yeah, good 11.5. So, you know, take it for what it is. That's a 10 watt slug versus my 50, and that's actually my tighter 50. I have two 50s here, and that was my tighter one. My other one actually showed it doing a little bit more, but that's, you know, slugs and age and things like that and how much you use them. You know, I've had this Bird meter for 20 years, so the movement in it's not tight like a brand new one. Now here's peak. This is Bird 43P peak. Oh yeah, hello. So what is that, about a good 36? I'm not dead. Oh, I'm sorry, it's showing 38. So that's 38, and then this is showing about 31. Oh, maybe 32, 33. That's with the boost on though. So we do have the boost on. Let's see what happens to peak when I turn the boost off. Oh, yeah. So about the same. So what you're getting with the boost is you're getting a little bit more RMS. But there you go, TB. This is the real deal. You got your free counter on there. I think you said you were going to mount it here in the speaker. Like I said, everything's factory for what it is. I don't know. Let's turn some lights off here and see if you can notice that white light that's in there. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that with all the lights in the shop, but we put a white light back here, super white. It's called super white. So got his weed bulb out of there, put a super white in there, and then of course you've got all your blue lights. So we really queered this radio up for you there, buddy. Well, Mr. Real Deal in the Hog Yard, you should be happy with this radio. We'll see ya. Bye. Old Stickman at the No Name Amp Shop. Hit like if you like the videos. I'll keep making them. We enjoy doing them for you. Have a good one now. Bye.